Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's lesson, which is on the audience manager. What that is a tool within Facebook that allows you to create audiences you can run ads to. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to show you how to open your audience manager, and for that we're going to open the ads manager where we left off, and I'm going to show you how to open your audience manager. Alright, we're here in the ads manager, and where we left off was that we had just created our campaigns, and I walked you through all of everything, and then when I was done with that, I just quickly deleted the campaign such that you don't accidentally have it running anytime, and you'll be good. So from there, the way you open your audience manager is that you're going to come down to this panel, and then you're going to come down to audiences, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you open your audience manager. It is that simple. Right, so as you can see here, we have three types of audiences, which is one, your custom audiences. These are audiences of people who have already shown interest in your business. This could either be people who have been on your Facebook page, on your website, on your Instagram, and all of those. Then you have lookalike audiences, which are audiences that are derived from your custom audiences. So basically what you just do with your lookalike audiences is that you take that audience that you've created customly, and then you just create an audience that looks like that one. I'm going to make a practical example. Assuming you create a list of your customers, and then what you want is that you want to run ads to people similar to that. What you do is just upload your customer list, and then you go create a lookalike audience of them to get the best results. Then from there you have saved audiences, which are really just audiences created from your, you could say, your demographic targeting. This is really just your locations, behavior, interest, and all of that. And that's how you do it. So where I want to start is actually with the saved audiences, because it's the most simple. And we actually did this when we were working through your campaigns. We actually worked through this. So what we're going to do, and what we wanted to do, was actually figure out if we can actually get an audience. We said for Midrand, and the location that you'll always have on as a jumpstart is your, you could say, your default location. And then what I wanted to show you is exactly this. So what you have is you could have Midrand as is, and then you can have the surrounding areas, assuming this is the area that you cover for your services. Then you can also reduce it a bit, assuming you're a gym and you just really want to have like that micro environment, because no one is, well, not no one, but people may not want to go all the way from down here to actually come join a gym in Midrand. Assuming it's something area specific, you may want to trim it down so that you get conversions for that particular area, and this is the most micro you can go. And then you could also add other surrounding, well, other office locations that you may have, assuming you have another one in Bloemfontein as well. But yeah, that's really just how you configure that. But I would still advise that you create it for, you could say, your audiences, like every other particular office or every other location that you have. But assuming we do it this way and we go on and then we filter it, all people 25 plus, just to show you how it would work. And then we say language, no, we're good. And then demographic targeting or interest and behaviors would be really being particular to a specific something. Assuming I'm trying to target architects, I would actually go for something like I'll probably go for something like architecture, and then it can actually give you an estimate of the audience size, as you see there, which is, well, this is like globally, which is 673 million people. And then if you click that, it kind of adds on people who are interested in that, but it's gonna make it specific to the location, the areas that I picked. As you can see, it's estimated there for this particular location, which is relatively 500,000 people, or you could say approximately 600,000 people. And that really is how you set it up. And then to save it, you just add on the name. So what we did was that we did Midrand plus Bloom, and then we did 10 miles, and then was there something specific that we did? Just try to figure out whether there's something. Oh, okay. And then we just make it specific that we actually added an interest, which is architecture. Yeah, just make it specific. And this is probably how you would save your audience, just like that. And then you just create saved audience, and that's how you would create it. So on the onset it would be ready. So this is how things are going to start looking once you have your first audience. Then from there you just say create audience, and then you still have custom audiences, lookalike, and saved audiences. Then we go ahead and custom audiences. So with the custom audiences, I'm going to show you how to create 2 of the audiences from your sources, which I use from time to time. And then I'm going to show you, I think 2 as well from the 2 as well from the meta sources. So I'm going to start with the website. And what we're going to be doing with the website is that we'll be using our pixel to get the data. And in case you don't know what a pixel is a piece of code you put on your website, and its job is just really to keep track of everything that is happening on your site. We'll not only be using that, but we'll also be using the conversions API. And just to make it simple, that's the big brother to a pixel. Just to make it simple, it does the same job. It just doesn't work. Well, you could say it works as well for iOS phones after the iOS 14.5 updates and all of that. If you don't know about that scandal, don't worry about it. You don't have to. All it does is that it keeps track of everything that's happening on your site. That's all you should know. So yeah, moving on. As you can see here, it says I was just going to add our URL. So it says pixel. I'm just going to say Popey's pixel, and then we're going to add my URL. And then here is where you would add your pixel, but this specific account does not have a pixel that's attributed to it. But if I had a pixel, this is where it would show up. I think that's what I was going for. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a video in the resources that's going to walk you through how you can create a pixel for your website, such that you can keep track of all of everything. It's not the most complicated thing, and so you will have that. And then what you can do is that you can check for all website visitors, people who visited a specific page, or visitors by time, which I have never done this visitors by time. You could say filtering. It's I find it a bit obscure, so I just work with people who visited a specific page or all website visitors. So in cases for people who visited a specific page, it would be trying to track people who've been on your landing page or something of that nature. It would be tracking leads. So when you check your leads and you want to find out who didn't give out their details, this is how you would do it. So what you would have is that you would have a page in which you're using to get people's details. Then aside from that page, once they have entered their details, they would be redirected to another page, which is a thank you page. So what you're going to do is that you're going to keep track of everyone who has been on the landing page, and then you're also going to keep track of people who have been on the thank you page. So if someone has been on your landing page and then they didn't go to the thank you page, it means they didn't give out their details. So you would actually run ads to retarget them to actually get their details, which is when I mentioned that there's also going to be a specific lesson on retargeting ads. But specifically how that would look is that if you have a web page that's assuming it's admin.digital / assuming this is our landing page / landing page, and this is where people give out their details, you would create an audience of people who've been on your landing page this way. So what they want is that they want this end part that says landing page. That's why it says URL contains. They want what the URL contains, which is this last part that says landing page. So what you would enter here would actually be landing page. So they'll be looking for a URL on my website that contains landing page. And then if it's a thank you page, it would be something that looks like this, and it would track people who've been on your thank you page, or however way it's written for you, assuming you have written it this way. They would just keep track of people who've been on that. And then what's going to happen is that you'll be creating an audience of people who've been on your thank you page. And then when we name it, what we would do is that we would have our source here, which we would say it's basically we're still using the same naming convention. How I write down my naming conventions is such that everything is organized and I know where what is what, and I know where is where and what is what. So yeah, that's really how you do it. You would have web, and then you have assuming it's a specific event and you want to keep track of people who've been on your landing page, it would actually be landing. It'd actually be landing, oh my god, my keyboard, landing page, and then that's what you would do, and then you had slash and then 30 days. So what this here is for the retention, which is the number of days people, you could say the number of days you're gonna, well, the threshold of the days, basically. That's the most basic way to put it. So this will be people who've been on your website from the last 30 days. You can have it up to 120, and then you can also tone down to 90, whatever threshold you feel comfortable with. I think you can't go ahead 180. Yeah, so 180 is like your climax, your max, and then that would be how you actually name it, and then you just create your audience. So it would be created like that, but I doubt it's gonna actually be created since I didn't like add my pixel. But yeah, there you have it. That's your landing page audience. And then what it's gonna do is that it's gonna populate, and then as soon as it's done populating, everything will be done. So I'm gonna show you how to add your customer list as well, and for that you're just gonna click customer list and go next. So what this is really just a list of people who are your customers, assuming you kept track of all of everything. So what you would do is, first thing to do, you can either import them from MailChimp if you use MailChimp to actually email your people, or you could download Facebook's file template to show you how you can structure all of everything. So they've actually made sense of everything to help you understand how everything is supposed to be organized. They're saying include at least one main folder, which is that they want some sort of identifier. Oh, and then it says include more identifiers. They want one main folder and they want an identifier. There you have it. And then if you have like a customer value, or whether to show how valuable someone is, you want to have that as well. And then what you would do is really just download that, and then from here you just go next. This is really just a breakdown of how everything should look. Then you just go next, and then what you do here is really just upload the customer list that you would have. So I'm going to be using the example template, and then what you just do is you name your audience. So I'm just going to say Facebook example template, Facebook example template, and then you just go next. And so yeah, this is where they're showing you how all of everything is mapped. And so what Facebook had done was that they had put way too many columns for every other thing. As you can see, we have 3 email columns, and then we have 3 number columns, and then more of everything. So what you can do is, assuming you also, you could say practically have the same thing, or you want to just have one identifier, which is either the email or the number, what you can do is just come here and then do not upload. And then once you do that, that one is going to be moved. Then you can also say do not upload, so that we have just one email. So we have one email folder, or you could say a column, and then we have another one there, and then we're just removing the numbers as well, such that we have just one. Do not upload. So every other thing that you don't want to be uploaded, you can just remove it simply like this. Say you don't want to upload that. Then you have first name, last name, postal code, assuming you don't want to upload that. The only identifiers you want to use is city and state, and then you can just not upload that. And then country, you may want to have that up again, and then you may not want to upload these, and then have that and like that. So in case there are certain things that were not actually put on the other side that you wanted to put up, like the customer value, where is it? Yes, like the customer value, you may want to upload it like that, but I think I said I don't have a customer value, and then you would select it and it would be uploaded that side. Then once that's done, you really just import, and everything is going to be important. It's gonna happen as is, and then there you have your audience is created, everything is up, and then you just go done. So that's really how you create your audiences based on that method that I just showed you. Now to move on to the meta sources to show you how we do that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create one for lead form, we're going to create one for Facebook page. Well, Facebook and Instagram page will just work the same way because it's relative, it's accounts basically for the accounts. So for lead form, let us go. So with the lead form situation, the framework is just the same as the website situation. You can have anyone who opened the form. You can create any audiences of anyone who opened the form, which in that case we said it's anyone who got onto the landing page. And then we say you could also create audiences of people who didn't submit that form. And how Facebook keeps track of that is that they just pay attention to someone who didn't go onto the thank you page, because it's really structured. And then from there, people who opened and submitted, they just keep track of people who got onto the thank you page. And it's really just the same framework. It's just that it's a lot easier to understand, since Facebook, you could say they made it all simple through that lead form. That's the most simple way I could put it myself. So what you might want to do is you might want to create an audience of people who opened but didn't submit your form, which means you didn't get the lead details. And then we have my page there, and then lead form, you would select your lead form. This page does not have any lead forms. And then retention, which is the time frame. And normally you might just want to have this at 60 days so that the retargeting ads are structured that way. And then you just name your audience, and that would be it. And naming it would still be the same way that we named it. So what you would say is submit, and then you would just go on 60 days like that and like that. So that's really just how you create your audiences with that. And then from there you just create it, but it won't create since I didn't add a lead form, and so there's no particular source. Then from there you have your custom audiences, you have your pages, and for that it's still going to be relatively the same factoring. You can choose to just have anyone who engaged with your page, which is someone who liked or visited a page, commented, and did something that's more engageable. Or you could have anyone who currently like or follow your page, and then you can run a particular offer for those people, create an audience for that. You can also just have anyone who opened your page. Then from there you then have more particular things, people who engaged with a particular post and all of that. Then you have your retention, and time frames for this is that you may want to have them somewhere between 60 and 90 as well, nothing more than that, and you just name it. So that's really how you create custom audiences, and the same procedure is going to go on for all the others. Then from there, I actually wanted to show you how lookalike audiences work. For that, we're just going to come to create audiences and then lookalike audiences. So these are just really audiences that are derived from your custom audiences. Then what you're going to do is that you're going to select a particular audience, and our audience are not showing because they're only populating now. Once that's done, they'll be up. So what you want to do is that you want to start your audiences as you create them, the lookalike audiences. You want to start them up from 10%, which means people that look like your audiences. You could say a 10% lookalike audience. I'm not sure whether that makes sense, but I'll try to break it down such that you understand it. People who are this is basically people who are the least common to like the audience that you have, which means 10% lookalike means that it's least lookalike audience, and then 1% would be someone who really looks like the audience that you have. So running ads to a 1% lookalike is going to be more expensive than running ads to a 5% lookalike, and also even more expensive than running ads to a 10% lookalike. So you might want to start it at 10%, create that, see how it converts, and then you can keep running down like that and like that and like that. And really, this lesson isn't the most complicated lesson. This is just really how you create your audiences. You can create them this way such that you always have audiences that are saved of how you run your ads, or you could create them on the onset as you go on to run your ads. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is really your audience manager. From here, action steps for this lesson is to open your ads manager, come to the audiences, see how everything works, and then what you can do is simply just, well, they can't delete yet because they're not populated. We're just gonna let them populate. Just gonna do that. Let me just show you what I mean. So you see, there we have it. It's populating, and then once it's done, you can actually click them and delete them properly. And so yeah, I hope all of this comes in handy, and let's see you in the next lesson.